Alright, hey, I'm here to do a little bit of a mad scientist experiment video. I've put a Weber 25 watt Alnico Signature speaker in my Tone Master Deluxe Reverb, which up until very recently I was under the impression that you had to have at least a 100 watt RMS speaker in. And so I've been looking at all these speakers like the Eminence V12 or V128, I guess it would be, and Red, White, and Blues, Eminence Little Texas, Jensen Tornado 100, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of speakers that can handle 100 watts and above, but there's a lot of speakers that can handle less than 100 watts, and the Deluxe Reverb, usually the tube version, can take a lot of different speakers because it's only 22 watts. So you could put a 50 watt speaker in there, for example, like the Eminence GB128, which is Eminence's take on a greenback. You could even put a Celestion greenback G12M25, I think it's called, or GM1225, whatever it is. The original Celestion greenback is only, I think, 25 watts. And you could put that in a Deluxe Reverb because it's only a 22 watt amp. But so anyway, the new blonde Tone Master amps are coming out in September, which is a couple weeks from now. And they've got a Celestion Neo Creamback in them, which is only a 60 watt speaker. So all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, if you can put a 60 watt speaker in there, how low can you go? And I have a Weber 25 watt, it's called Weber Signature 12S because it has the standard cone. It's ribbed. It's not the smooth cone. So I have that. It was in my Fender Champ 12, which is like a 10 watt RMS Class A tube amp with just one single 6L6 in the power amp. And it sounds glorious in that amp, but it's got a 1-inch diameter voice coil, so it would be a lot of brightness and not so much low-end punch, and nowhere near the efficiency of the N12K, which was modeled after the C12K, a very efficient speaker. Stays clean all the way up the dial, which is great for gigging with a loud drummer or in a big venue. But I like a little bit of speaker breakup, and a lot of people hate it when the bass is farting out on their speaker. I hear people complaining about it all the time, but I think when the bass starts farting out because you're sending too much of a signal to that voice coil, it's one of the coolest effects, if you want it. That's one of the coolest effects you can really get, when you're digging in. When you're playing lightly, it sounds clean, and when you dig in, it starts breaking up, a kind of dynamic, touch-sensitive speaker distortion, if you will. So anyway, I put that speaker in the Tone Master, and the N12K, it was connected with 8 bolts. I took them out, and then it did seem like it was attached to the baffle. At first I thought, oh man, I'm gonna have to get a putty knife or some kind of tool and get under there and scrape it, and I was thinking, do I really want to do that? Not really. No, I don't want to mess up the baffle. I don't want to tear a gasket off of the speaker. But I just pulled up on it. I grabbed the back of the speaker with the frame, and I just pulled up on it and kind of was rocking it a little bit, and it came loose. I did have to pull pretty hard. The amp only weighs like 20 pounds, so it's not like there was a lot of weight pulling down on it. But I did pick the whole amp up by the speaker while the amp was laying face down. Anyway, I got the N12K out, no problemo. Put the Weber 12S Signature Alnico speaker in, and I was just going to run through a couple of paces to show anybody in the group or on YouTube out there that this can be done. I'm a member of a Facebook group called Tone Master Deluxe Reverb and Twin Reverb Users, or something to that effect. Sorry if I don't have the exact name right. But anyway, I'm a member of a Tone Master Users group on Facebook, and that inspired me to do this video. So here is the inside of the back of the amp. It's got the Weber speaker in there with the square Alnico magnet in the back, and I'm just running through the normal channel right now, so I'm not going to worry about the foot switch. But let's see here. I have a little prop set up made with kids' toys. I've got a 2-year-old. It's in the bath right now, so this is my free time to do mad scientist work. And let's see here. I'm trying to set this to where you can actually see the controls. How about that? All right. What I'm playing with is a Showmaster, a Fender made in Korea Showmaster with the 3 single coil pickups. They're Seymour Duncan 5/2. They have Alnico 5 magnets in the lower 3 strings and Alnico 2 magnets in the upper 3 strings. So it gives you an interesting attack. And not too different than standard single coil pickups really at all. So I'm running into the normal channel here, and let's see if you can actually see what the dials are on. I don't know if you can or can't. Let's see. A little bit more light. Anyway, volume is all the way down right now, and I've got the treble and bass all the way up, because I watched a video recently where somebody was talking about how these EQs are actually subtractive. So if you start with them both, the treble and the bass all the way up, and then subtract them to taste, you can come up with some unique tones, especially at lower volumes. So let's start with the volume on 2. Let's see what we get. So nice and fat sounding, actually. Even with the 1-inch voice coil in this Weber Signature Alnico, there's enough bass on tap that it really sounds fat and warm, and great brilliance, great amount of brightness with the treble. Let's turn it up to 3 and see.